All right, guys, we're live. I'm not gonna. I'm just going to skip all the formalities. Let's go ahead and start talking about how amazing, or at least how in some parts, the reveal was amazing. In some other ones, there was some confusion. I would say for me at least. But Thomas, of course, we're here. We're gonna be talking all things the reveal from last night. So let's go ahead and have Thomas talk about a little bit about the things that he liked, and maybe if there was some things that he didn't like particularly much.
Um, yeah, what's up, guys? No, as always, have neither one of us got the characters that we were really pulling for on that reveal. But even with that, I still liked it because I'm not gonna lie and say like every one of those characters like my favorite, and say Ronda Rousey is the best voice actress in the world.
Thank you.
But for the gameplay aspect, that's the because we get to see the gameplay reveal, then we get to see the story prelogue, which you were on the phone with me yesterday when it happened. You knew what happened, but um yeah, it's just I think if we got a few more characters or just like the characters that we wanted to see, it'd be a different story. Which even then, this is still like it was still great.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this, like, apart from the fact that we didn't really get to see, of course, you wanted to see Katana or at least somebody from
Mm.
Edenia, and I wanted to see, Noob Saibot, maybe Reiko, maybe Fujin. Um, I will say, if you haven't checked out our predictions episode, then definitely check that out. I'll leave the link at the end of the video or in the description down below. Definitely check it out. But one thing I did say is that I don't necessarily need to see a character that I want to see. I want to see, but I do want to see a character, maybe even two, that are kind of out of left field, like with somebody that nobody expected, and they definitely did that. I definitely
Yeah,
didn't expect to see Baraka come back, and I definitely didn't expect to see Scarlet come back. Maybe I expected them to be in the main roster, but I didn't expect them to see them now. Especially, I would have to say Baraka because the way that they killed them off in the game, it seemed in MKX, it seemed pretty fine. Like he was never really a character that was getting any respect anyway. So he just felt like kind of like a henchman. So for them to bring him back and I guess you could say the main reveal, because this is really the big one. Of course, the trailer, that's the first one, but I would say this is probably the big first like major reveal where you have to see gameplay, and that's what we all wanted to see. So you have to see some Baraka gameplay. I didn't expect them to really use him as one of the main cards. So I'm happy they did that because I personally like Baraka. I hope that they gave him a bit more respect and they gave him a better chance to shine. And I also really like Scarlet. Her as a DLC character in MK9. I enjoyed playing as her quite a bit, and I was definitely hoping to see her in MKX, but it just never really panned out. So I like the way she looks in the new one, and overall, the fact that they did, like I said, show some characters that we didn't expect, I appreciated that a lot. Although I would have liked to see, somebody like Fujin or Reiko. But overall, like apart from the fact that we didn't see any characters excuse me, the characters that you wanted to see, like was there any other thing in particular that you were disappointed not to see throughout this reveal?
minus the no SubZero gameplay. 'Cause we didn't get that until like I didn't get to see that until today when I looked on IGN, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I guess it was left more to the imagination. I guess because I think what we expected and what we got were different things. I think it was like more at an event like think of Coachella, where it's great to be there and there's all the different acts that you can do there and things you see. But you can only watch certain things. And at some point, you keep watching enough, it looks like you're more of a stalker and obsessed than just a regular fan. Which we do have that problem sometimes, but
We do.
I'm trying to wean myself off of it just so I don't be too uh, crazy with it. But no, like look at so they have a bunch of stuff. Apparently, they have a fatality booth. You can hold them and have your own picture with that. You get tattoos. All the cosplayers there. All the famous celebrities there. It was great for it to be there, I bet. But to watch from home, and just from all you get was like 30 minutes of content, which wasn't not that it was a lot of content. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like time wasn't enough. We needed more time.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that 100%. I think that because in case you guys didn't get it, me and Thomas, we watched the reveal together, essentially. You know, via of course internet, but we still watched it together. So we had our live reaction and stuff like that. And it seems like I think both of us pretty much once it ended, once at least the reveals ended, we both kind of felt like, is that all? Like, not that we weren't happy with what we saw, but it just with the build up, with the hype and all that, the expectations we had, it just kind of felt like it wasn't enough. It just didn't go long enough. Like, I would have really liked to see maybe, you know, like they did with Sonya, where they kind of did a trailer for her as a character. I would have liked to see the same thing for some of the newer ones, like Garrus or something like that, or maybe
Yeah,
even
you
some
did
of the
one with
ones we already.
Garrus.
Yeah, but I mean like something. Not I don't. I mean all of them though. Like, you know, for
Yeah,
Scarlet,
something for
for
each one of
yeah, for
them.
each one, do give us a bit more detail on each character. Maybe not necessarily like talk to the voice actor, because of course that was a way for them to kind of plug Ronda Rousey. It's a big name for them to, you know, associate to their game, and I get that. Um, so of course they gave more spotlight to Sonya, but I would like to see them do that. Maybe for SubZero, of course, as well, because he is who he is. Maybe show something about Scorpion, something about Raiden, just to show a
Talk
bit
about their
more.
roles in the story mode this year, or
Well,
something like
like
that.
not even necessarily about their role in the story mode, because that does kind of get into spoilers a little bit potentially. I just mean like show
Sure.
a bit more about their gameplay, some of the intricacies about their gameplay, um, and just kind of show
Well,
us
that's
a
if they
little
did
bit
that with
more, you
everyone
know?
but Sub-Zero.
Yeah, but I don't know if you're
No,
getting my
like,
point across. You know what I mean? Like,
no, I know what you're saying. Like pretty much make a video for each character just to show a little about them, like gameplay wise,
yeah.
gear wise, and they did that with Scorpion and Baraka, show like some of their gear
Mm-hmm.
as well.
Which I appreciated.
But mhm. But like, I think after those two, they just stopped, and Sonya got her own little thing, and Gears got his own little thing, and I said there was more to be desired, pretty much.
Exactly. Like it felt like they could have done honestly like another at least 15 minutes, maybe even 30 minutes, if they just would have showed a little bit more for each character.
Hmm.
But I mean, at the end of the day, it's the first reveal, and like you said, that really I think it's the kind of event that it's okay for the viewers that are watching it around the world, but it's extremely cool for the people that are there. You know, between like you said,
Yeah.
all the various activities you could do there, and plus there was a lot of, you know, celebrities there. Like if you were in Europe, there were guys like Alexander Gustafsson who's fought for the UFC title 3 times. They had the guy who plays I can't remember what his name is in the movie. He's the villain in Creed 2, so he's Dolph Lundgren's son. He's Drago's
Hmm.
son. They had an Arsenal player, Kolasinac, and they had I think somebody else. So they had quite a few celebrities from various, you know, various whether it's sports or acting, and so there was plenty of people there. And of course, in the U.S., they had a lot of WWE guys. They had probably some actors. They had Ronda Rousey, of course. So if you're there, like if you're there for the actual event in Los Angeles or London, I'm sure it was an amazing time. And there was so much for you to experience. But when you're watching it at home, I think they probably could have done a little bit better. But this was their first attempt at doing this, right? This is NetherRealm Studios has never done this before, and you don't really see a lot of these companies doing this. You see Blizzard do it; they have BlizzCon. That's more like a convention. So I think NetherRealm Studios did a good job for their first attempt, because they gave us enough, and they gave the people that went to see the stuff live plenty to look at. So I think that they're only going to improve if they keep on doing this, and of course they want to save some things for their upcoming combat cast, or what they're calling it nowadays.
Combat cast, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm sure that for anybody who wants to see more details, then just check that out. I know I'm going to be watching it. They already talked about they're going to be essentially revealing Cabal.
Yeah.
Um, and then, of course, I'm expecting them to show a lot more game. Like the things that we're asking that we were hoping to see at the reveal, they're probably going to be showing on the first combat cast. So definitely check that out. I'm pretty excited for that. That's January 30th. I don't know exactly what time, but stay tuned for sure. We'll be talking about all
Three
that
Central
stuff.
Time,
3
so
Central Time? All right, perfect. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So,
it's pretty much my time, 3 o'clock.
yeah. So,
So pretty much 10 o'clock your time.
10 o'clock. Yeah, so I'll definitely be watching that live. Maybe we can watch it together. Just kind of depends on how things pan out. And
Yeah.
then we'll do like we kind of did with the reveal event. Talk about the day after.
Hmm.
So I don't know. I have a few things written down. So first of all, what do you think of the characters they announced?
First glance, underwhelming. Looking at it a little longer and seeing the gameplay, and think about and just like the whole overarching thing, like think, how are they there? Why are they there? And this is all in the good way too now. Because you heard me yesterday, it was like I was really underwhelmed.
Okay.
But now I'm like, so I'm not overwhelmed yet because I'm still waiting for that reveal. Even though I sorry confirming, we'll talk about it in a little bit, but um, now I'm just like whelmed in general. Like, huh? I wonder how Baraka is back alive. I wonder how Scarlet got her legs back. But it also begs the question too. While on topic of roster is like we have 14. We have 14 characters yet. Not 14. 7 characters yesterday in the build, and then throughout that day we got another at least 4, not including Chronica, revealed as well.
Yeah, and just for who didn't see it, why don't you go ahead and list them off? The ones.
And also, yeah, I'm gonna say
Yeah,
actually
yeah,
5 because you got Conquer Ball now too.
yeah, yeah.
But you saw Liu Kang come out in the initial trailer.
Mm-hmm.
You saw Cabal in the for the teaser for the combat cast, and then the last two are Cassie Cage and Katana.
Now I don't know if you saw this, but I also saw. I'm pretty sure an image of Kano on the menu.
Yeah,
So yeah,
that too.
yeah, yeah,
I'm not sure if those confirm that as well or not. Kano's also in the back of a stage too. People were saying, so we have to wait until the game comes
yeah,
out for that.
yeah. That doesn't necessarily confirm them because it definitely wouldn't be the first time that there have been characters in the background in a stage, but it does kind of hint towards
It
maybe
wouldn't be
he's
the
going to be
first
there.
time.
It definitely wouldn't be the first time, no.
Yeah,
So I mean,
because they did with Scarlet
yeah,
and they
yeah,
did with Katana and MK9.
yeah,
So
and they did it in
this,
you know in the pit in the
let's just
old
count more
days.
combat games.
Yeah,
They did,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So
But also, what else was I gonna say? Damn it! Why'd you cut me off, man?
my bad.
Just usually I remember where I'm gonna go from there, but yeah, just the oh yeah, I don't remember. Also, the main menu, people were saying, and I don't want to give them any credit because that's not true or not. It's just a picture of somebody's backside. People were saying that that's Rain in the menu as well.
That's right, the one that we were talking about. Maybe it's either like Rain, maybe it could be Melina if it's a weird version
It
of
could
her.
be
But
literally. I don't
yeah,
know who it is. I'm not going to like speculate on that one. I know Katana was released because I saw that. I'm like, huh. Well, I at least know I'm happy now. This is like right after we get off the phone, and I'm still watching the rest of it. And I was like, huh. Well, I'm happy now. I was very underwhelmed. Now I'm whelmed. Let's give me overwhelmed and see where we go.
yeah. So I mean, they like you said, they showed us 7 characters, 2 of which we'd already seen. There was no showing a Shao Kahn, which was kind of interesting, but I guess it's nothing too major. They didn't show any gameplay or any like moves of his.
You have to get
But
Shao Kahn right, keep in mind.
yeah, yeah. But
Because this is the first time he's been playable since
yeah,
Trilogy or
so
Armageddon.
they better like, and Armageddon doesn't really count. So I would say that they kind of need to. They just yeah. I hope that they do him right in a way to where he's fun to play. He's not just this giant brute who just throws one hit combos, but he can also. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see what they do. That's a whole different story for a whole different day. Um,
Mm-hmm.
of the characters that we saw, so Baraka, Scarlet, Garrus.
You said oh, I was like Darius. Like what?
No, fuck, dude. Come on, dude.
Garrus. I literally thought that for a second. I'm not even joking. This isn't me giving you shit. This is me serious.
I'll let it go by just for this time. No more Darius in this episode.
Okay.
SubZero and Sonya. Those are the 5 characters that they announced that we hadn't seen yet. Of these characters, which one are you most excited for, and which one? Let's see. Which one were you hoping to see some gameplay? Like, who do you want to try most?
I really want to play SubZero a little bit more. Like just because I saw. Also, first of all, who those do not know yet, there are gear moves again. They're back. Now they're gonna play a big role in tournaments. We don't know yet, but um, like first thing I saw SubZero was literally that little ice shooter move, and I think, all right, I want to try that now. I want to see that actually played out. But other than SubZero, since we didn't see much gameplay from him, after watching, I really wanted to see this is a shocker, Baraka.
Exactly. I feel the same way, man. Like Baraka has always been a character I like, just because I think it's probably because of the Dash EXP videos where they made
Hmm.
Baraka just hilarious, and I've
That's true.
always I always just kind of liked him, like the blades and all that stuff. But I think that they might have done him correctly this time. Like the move set, it was so brutal. Like the way the fatality where he rips off your face like what 3 times, something like that. He
Yeah.
just seems like he's an absolute savage this time, and I hope I hope my gut feeling is correct. He's going to be very fun to play as this time. So I definitely
He
agree with
has
you.
an
Baraka's the number
anti-air.
one.
I mean, he has an anti-air this year, so that's really interesting.
Definitely.
He actually shoots thorns out of his back. That's something I've never seen before from him. But
They
like,
did.
I really don't care for.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Hmm? 'Cause I really don't care for Baraka in general, so that's surprising for me to say. Everyone there, I want to play with Baraka,
Yeah.
other than Sub-Zero. But
Well, I mean, Sub Zero's in a different category. You know, everybody loves Sub Zero. He's a character that no matter what, you're gonna be excited to play Sub Zero. It doesn't matter. He's always
if
fun
you're
to
a
play
Scorpion
as.
fan,
Yeah, it doesn't really matter because it's still Sub Zero. Baraka's a guy. You know, he's one of those characters that, like I said, he has a lot of potential, but they always fuck him up,
every
and they always make
yeah.
him kind of trash to play as. So if they can make him good this time, then I think that that's gonna be great for his character.
No, that roster wasn't bad. It's just now because you counted before I got a chance to, but we have 25 people on that roster, and it's like who fills up those rest of those spots? Who genuinely deserve it, and who do we want in there? So how do you balance that out?
Yeah, that's what was interesting is as I was mentioning to you earlier, privately. After we finished talking, I went on Total MK stream, and I was trying to get a read on what some of the people on his chat were thinking about the roster and what he was thinking about the roster. And a couple guys were like, it's 25 characters plus an extra 6 with the combat pack, so that's a pretty solid number. But like 30 to 31 characters, I mean, listen, it's not bad. It's like it's not the worst that it could have possibly been. But I expected a hell of a lot more. Not necessarily because this might be the last of a so-called trilogy, but mostly because
Of this era, yeah.
yeah, like there's gonna be time warping and time travel. So I expected this to be an opportunity for them to really bring back a lot of the characters, and they still might. We don't know like which characters are gonna be in there or not, but I expect there to be a lot more of the characters actually in the game. So what I'm wondering is if they're gonna be doing only like a 25 character main roster. Plus, I've already confirmed Combat Pack 1 with 6 characters.
Plus shot cons another seven,
Yeah,
plus seven total.
yeah. Are they going to do a second combat pack? Because I think that if they do a second combat pack, then it's acceptable. Like that'd be 36, and it's borderline acceptable. It's still not. No, I don't think it's enough. But at the same time, it's still acceptable. But I don't know, 25. But everybody's even Total MK himself seemed like he was pretty okay with 25 characters on the main roster. To me, that was disappointing. I'm not gonna lie, that was very
Wait,
disappointing. But
I guess 25 isn't bad. It just depends who are those 25. At the end of the day, who are they?
true, the who is it's more about quality than quantity for the most part
Hmm.
in most things in life. But at the same time, I don't know. I
A
think that
little bit more quantity.
yeah, sometimes a little bit of quantity goes a bit farther than a certain degree of extra quality, in my opinion. But then I was thinking to myself, in MKX, I think do you remember how many characters on the main roster? I think it's more or less 24, right? It's pretty much the same,
Uh,
maybe a little bit
yeah.
more. Not much more anyway. Not much more, not much less. And
I
of
know
course,
that
go ahead.
AK9 have more than MKX,
Yes, definitely.
and then Injustice had more than MKX as well. So that's why everyone assumed that we're getting more.
Yeah.
And then I think it's back to that number again, 25.
Yeah, this is how stupid I am. I actually did a video not too long ago where I did this research. I researched how many arenas there were, how many characters there were, all that stuff. And of course, I've already forgotten what it was. So, just to give you an idea of how my garbage ass brain works, I'm stupid. So yeah, I mean, like, it's not. I don't know, man. It's not a big enough roster, but I think the biggest issue is, of course, the variation system is back. It's not necessarily like we don't really know the extent of how each variation is going to change in terms of moveset. Did they talk about that? I don't recall them talking about that, other than you can customize the look, right?
No, you can. That's what I was saying too. Like there are. So I was looking at um, some YouTubers' things about just going to the gear moves for each seven, all seven people, and you can change shaders to so many. Like there's literally be a shader for SubZero or Scorpion to be blue, pretty much. Um, but you can change all these little things, and then like you can change the intros, the outros. They do have brutality. That is confirmed, by the way. Fair to tell you that.
Okay, I didn't see that, so
Uh,
that's cool.
so they on the thing, a lot of people who were there were able to go through that gear menu and change their brutality if you want. Um, but yeah, you can change the aesthetics, and they do have certain moves you can add to it as well. And you
Okay.
instead of getting just the two from Injustice, the two slots, you get three. Now
Hmm.
some takes up two spots still, but that's still leave you with some room for other things too.
Now, when it comes to variations, because I didn't get to see a lot of gameplay because I've been having a lot of stuff in my life the past couple months, so I didn't have a lot of time to look at gameplay and stuff like that. So, did they show like if I pick, let's just say I have variation one and variation two. Does variation two have different, like completely different super moves? Like let's just say like in MKX, one variation had different special moves than the other one, stuff like that. Does that still carry over to the new variations, or is it only aesthetic changes plus all
I'm
the
pretty
other
sure
moves
it's
you can
this.
add?
I'm pretty sure it is because they still have their basic. They still have their three. You can just customize those three too.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I mean by infinite. Well, at least thousands of different variation combos. But the problem with stuff like that too is like you're just watching the gameplay. You don't get to hear as much once they pretty much announced Gears this thing. That's all they did talk wise.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was just to show off the game. This the Combat Cast is actually going to talk about the game and talk about all the little nerdy parts that people want to know, like how many frames this takes up. But I will say this: their move list is more detailed than it has in a long time. And what I mean is, like, it literally tells you, like, all right, this is a high punch, this is a low, this is a mid. Like they've got went into this. I give them props for doing that too. The whole presentation of the game was great for still an early build too.
Yeah, I mean everything we've seen so far, like there are certain things that kind of make you scratch your head, like what happened there in terms of like characters and stuff like that. It's the story type
Hmm.
of stuff. We don't know much, so there's still a lot of intricacies that are having leaving us questions. But everything we've seen so far, from an aesthetic point of view, from a mechanical point of view, in my opinion, and just the gameplay in general, it all looks great so far. It all looks really really
Well,
good.
well, now you actually have. There is no run button. I realized that really
Mm-hmm.
fast, but um, you get two bars for to roll out or to use an environmental. That's great. And then you have two bars for your enhancement moves. And what just makes things better than that too is that It's not, oh, I hit this person so many times to get this bar up. It's like, all right, use it times I can. But um, yeah, it's one of those things that's just the gameplay actually changed it up a lot. Even with the failed blows, like everyone's like, all right, well, I'm gonna get my meter so high up, I'm gonna use an X-ray, and I'm gonna use that to win. And it's like, well, to use this, you have to be almost dead, and on top of that, you get for per one match. Not one round, for one match you get it. So when you use it, you have to be good the rest of the game.
Yeah, and I definitely think that's a very good choice. Like, going away from the X-rays, mixing it up a little bit. I think it's a great mechanic because one of the main issues was, as you can, like, to anybody who's watched tournament play, then you'll definitely have noticed that for the most part, the pros only use X-ray moves when it's like it's they're either guaranteed to win or when they're on full-fledged desperation mode. When they're
Yeah.
like when you're in the intricacies of you know of a regular battle and it's still completely wide open, you don't really see a lot of X-rays because they prefer to use the bar for enhancements, which allows them to do longer combos or, of course, to combo break. So the fact that they have a meter for offense, a meter for defense, and the fatal blow is its own separate thing. I think that adds a lot of interesting developments for the gameplay, a lot of interesting scenarios that we wouldn't have been able to have with the X-ray moves, because of course they do a lot of damage, but they're also pretty predictable when you're in a certain situation. So it
When
just
your
in
back is
general,
against the wall, you know when somebody's going. If you have somebody back against the wall, you know they're going to use it.
especially when you're not playing against somebody who's elite level. If you're playing against Sonic, Fox, and stuff like that, then of course they're going to have a lot more tricks in their sleeves. But if you're playing against me or you, it gets to the point where X-ray moves are kind of necessary if we're going to want to stand a chance. So I like the fact that now it's each person has it towards the end of the match once they take enough damage. So it's a great
Yeah.
little change of pace in the game while also kind of leaving that big damage boosting move. So hats off to NetherRealm Studios for not just, going away from something that so many people love like the X-ray moves, but also changing the mechanics of the game. Really giving a change of pace. That it could be hit or miss, but I think it's going to be a pretty big hit.
Mm. Well, it's like one of those things. Like it's not like it's gone. It's just now they're more random too. Because the X-rays are still there, but they're just not going to be like as easy to just use no more. It's like you actually have to be good for it. And due to the fact that so when MKX came out, I was playing with my family, and after that, I just played by myself. I went to one of my friend's house who I didn't know like Mortal Kombat, and he loves it. I talked about him on the stream all the time, but um, he, he first of all, everyone wants like X-rays and fatalities are like the are pretty much like when you show someone the game like this. Look at this. This is really cool and funny, and like Cassie Cage has the best X-ray in MKX, for example.
Mm-hmm.
To like show off to people. If you want to show somebody, get somebody really like grossed out reaction, like oh my god face, like yeah, you show them Cassie Cages, right? Well, so with that being said, they my friend would get our backs against the wall and he's kicking our ass now, or just me and Jaron like saying screw it, I have my X-ray, I'm gonna do this now, and I feel like I'm hella bad and shit. It's like, oh, here he goes again. Use this fucking X-ray, and when he misses, like they're just talking mad shit. So I want him like, damn, I feel embarrassed. I had to resort to an X-ray to win, and I didn't even win still. But also, it's just like, if you miss it, doesn't mean like you lose. The only way you lose your fatal blow is if you connect it. Other
Yeah,
than that,
'cause
it keeps building up
yeah,
until.
it has a cooldown of. Did they say how many seconds?
No, but that's the same. I think it's like the same amount on the enhancement moves too.
Mm-hmm. All right.
And but like I said, I like the mechanics from it. I want to like I said, I want to actually get good at this game. So I plan on actually practicing it.
Yeah, I'm hoping that the netcode's going to be good because if the netcode's solid, then from the very beginning, then there's going to be a pretty decent community. I think, plenty of matches and a great way to practice online and hopefully be stable. Because if you notice, like even games like Dragon Ball Fighters have most of these fighting games always have broken netcode toward the beginning. And if
Hmm.
I think that MK, with the fact they're going to be doing a beta, they should technically have all the little issues maybe resolved by the time the full game comes out. So hopefully the netcode's going to be very solid, and me and you possibly can even you know do a bunch of matches, maybe put them on YouTube or something, and
Well, like
interact with
this one
people.
thing. Yeah. Well, one thing too you got to think about. First of all, did you ever watch that video I sent you last night or no?
Which one? I watched.
The one from like behind the scenes of MK11.
No, I didn't have time. No.
It was all right. So they in that video they pretty much talked about a bunch of it. So wherever they didn't really get into on the reveal, they talked about on here, and they talked about a little bit more of the story, and which I don't know who's the right person on this story, but we'll get into that in a little bit. But another thing too, while we're on gameplay and transitioning onto that, um, they are actually working. They're working on a system that's going to allow them to pair people up with who's on their level.
Okay. So it's gonna.
So it's like the thing that everyone always said, like, say, I want to play someone who's on my level, like who's way better. Instead of finding somebody like random ring matches, and it's like, oh, here's somebody who's been playing for 20 minutes, and here's somebody who's been playing since before the game came out. Good luck. Like, no, everything's gonna be a fair fight now.
Did they say exactly how the ranking system is going to be? Is it going to be kind of like in a lot of competitive games? I think even Street Fighter might have it. But in a lot of competitive games like on PC and stuff like that, they divide you into like there's like five ranks or something like that. There's five divisions. Let's just say five divisions. Then as you win games, you move up in rank, and once you get to rank one, and you go through that rank as well, then you move up to the next division, and you go farther and farther like that. Did they mention anything like that or?
No, it was a really brief video. They had to hit a bunch of high points and different talking points in such a short time. So,
Okay. Well, that's something
but
that's pretty interesting. That's very solid. That's probably one of the main issues I had with that is because like you said, half the time I would go against one player that I could destroy. Next thing you know, I'm against three or four players in a row that absolutely demoralize me, and it just kind of
makes them want to play the game no more.
exactly because
Let's not play online no more.
yeah. So they definitely needed to add a solid ranking system, matchmaking system. So I'm happy to hear that. That's pretty good to hear.
But yeah. But that's just one of the many things they talked about in there. Story must we know. All right, so we already know it's a time bending story. They first of all right. There's so many things because if you look at the pictures I sent you last night as well, just look at those.
Mm-hmm.
And they talked about how you're gonna have interactions with from the younger versions, which are people who are alive, and the older versions who are the dead ones. Like throughout the story, I was like, that's great. I can't wait to see that. And there's a few good lines in there. Well, really like only two good lines in there. This little trailer. And you have Kung Lao talking to young Kung Lao talking to older Kung Lao saying the idea of turning into you is just sickens me. I'm like, yeah, but I think is do you have the whole story though? Because then you know it's Raiden's fucking fault still.
It's always Raiden.
But yeah, well that's the thing too. So one of the issue. So I mean, we're talking about story right now, but I think this goes more to the whole death thing I was telling you about earlier. And then, like how yes, death doesn't have much meaning. We know this now, but did you ever like the Revenant storyline? Yes.
Now we kind of talked about this like a little bit earlier on. I think maybe it was off air actually. So I'll go ahead and say, like I've never liked the Revenant storyline. I mean, they kind of just seem like for Liu Kang, for example, he was a zombie in deception. And it seemed like they kind of was like, okay, that's an interesting little idea there. Let's go ahead and take away their souls, but put them in a body, and let's put them in the nether realm. So it's kind of like a cop out version of like Zombie Liu Kang, but for all the characters. And I don't know. It's you would think that like if Quan Chi had Liu Kang, he would pretty much be invincible because Liu Kang himself is, the multiple time champion of Earth Realm, alongside Kung Lao, alongside all the other amazing fighters that he had. So I don't know. I always kind of felt like the Revenants were just kind of garbage versions of the characters that was just kind of an excuse to keep them around.
Well, the thing with Revenants for me was like, so first of all, even MKX, it was a good concept maybe for me, but they did nothing with it really. The most we got from the Revenant storyline, other than some people coming back a lot to life, and some people are still dead, the only thing we really got from that was like progressively made a story. Was when Kunjin asked Jackie what it was like having pretty much an ex-dead father in her life. Other than that, we don't know nothing about their life. Even in the comic books, we don't know nothing about that life. It's just they're dead, and they do nothing with that. So if they actually would have given them a story to work on, then yeah. And we don't even get that because Scorpion fucked everything up. But that's a different topic for a different day. And no matter if they're on the side of evil or not, you will never make us hate those characters. And I will. Okay, first of all, let's start with someone who doesn't matter to us. Stryker, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Stryker was a well-hated character. No one liked him really. And if you did, well, you're the minority. And trust me, I know about that. But, but then you actually build him up and make him better than MK9. So fast forward 20 years, you make him better, well, less than 20 years. Make him better, and you kill him off. Now, keep in mind, this is just a random cop that's like, alright, I'll help you. I decide to do the right thing, and I get killed. And then we need nothing else from him after that. And that's just Stryker, okay? Now let's talk about a few prominent characters. And I let you pick out of the three. I know which one I want to talk about, but I'll let you pick. Liu Kang, Kung Lao, or Katana.
Kung Lao. I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Katana.
Okay. Okay, I actually have more stuff. I can go off of Liu Kang, not Liu Kang, Kung Lao and Katana. Liu Kang's kind of harder because people say he doesn't have much of a story anyway. But, in that same trailer, you get Cassie Cage. I guess she has to fight Katana. You don't get to see her face, but she runs up to Katana and says this quote, and it just renders with me now. Empress Katana, Empress of the Dead. I'm like, that is the most fucked up thing and tragedy they could have did to this character. Because you talk about the old timeline, let's talk about the new timeline. Girl who spends 10,000 years under someone else's rule thinking that's her dad. Then, in one swift moment, he's ready to kill her because she found out the truth. And because, again, she wants to do the right thing, she gets killed by her own mother. Yeah, tragic enough. And then, so I think I'm already dealing with the fact that she's dead, okay? Now with them just being dead, it's like, alright, they're dead, so they're evil now. Or since they're against Raiden, they're evil now. I'm like, no. In no shape and form. And I wonder this too. No way, shape, or form you ever convince me now that Raiden's the good guy and Liu Kang, Katana, Kung Lao, and all the other Revenants are the bad guys. Because they did the right thing and helped when they probably should have just stayed out of it. And you have to wonder too, does Sonya and Johnny just like, you know what, Ray made some bad choices, but you don't get to hear these either. But it's like, Ray made some bad choices, but it's okay. We lost a few friends. And one or two or three friends are is like, okay, we lost them, sad sacrifices. But when you lose, and I'm including SubZero and Jax too, so you lose SubZero, Jax, Kung Lao, Katana, Jade, Cabal, Striker,
Nightwolf.
Smoke, Nightwolf, Liu Kang. You kind of that's more than a few, okay? And now it's like, all right, well, you have a good 2 years worth of bad judgment, but we can move on past this. And it's like, so with Dark Raiden, is he evil or is he good? And according to the developers now, he is technically good. Because even as Dark Raiden, the whole thing with Chronica, apparently, is she is the villain because too much good happened on one side that's the reason why she's rewinding time. So because of all the all the shit that Raiden did, saying he did too much good in the world, is why this is happening. I don't count half my cast being dead being called good.
Well,
That's my little rant. That's my little rant on that, I
yeah,
guess.
and I mean, I know what you're coming from. Like, I know what you mean with that, but I also know what they mean because what he's doing, he's technically a protector of Earthrealm. So what he's doing, he's trying to make it rid of any threat that's coming to Earthrealm before they are actually, harming Earthrealm. So technically, what he is doing is for the good of Earthrealm, so a good thing. But the way he does it and how brutal he is definitely not good. So I think that's kind of, you see, that's what I wanted to see about Raiden. That's what I wanted to see, him being kind of like Scorpion, in the sense that Scorpion, he's of course more neutral. I guess technically he's a good guy sort of now, but I like to see Raiden borderline evil. He's good, but he's evil at the same time. It just kind of shows you that there's a lot more to his character than there really ever was. He was always just this goody two shoes that just tries to do, protect essentially, and never really break
Get
the
involved.
rules. Yeah, not really get involved. But now you see this guy, like the way that he was literally torturing Shinnok, like that was an awesome scene. I don't know if you like that, but that was an awesome scene right there. And the way he turned his lightning into a sword, chopped off his head, the way that they showed us the way, what he did before he said the whole there's a fate worse than death. I love that. I love that. I want to see more of that. I want this Raiden. This could be the Raiden that really makes me a fan of him, because I've always he's a legendary character. He's always been a major face in Mortal Kombat, but this could be the one that really makes Raiden a character that people really, really, really like, because he's always just been kind of, in some ways, boring, one-dimensional. But I think this could definitely be the time where he really, really shines as what he could potentially be.
Yeah, and I'm not against that at all. But I'm talking like with the prior games, you can't make me believe that he's a good guy and then doesn't good. He doesn't get involved. He reminisces on days where he wished that he should have fixed things. I'm like, I get it. You have your regrets. But if it's definitely like a rating problem, this is maybe like more of a writer's thing.
That's exactly what I was about to say. It's like this is just an issue of, they literally have so many plot holes, and they have so many issues, whether it's with the writing or just the storyline in general, like the way certain things happen. And it's almost impossible for them to you know call some of the things that Raiden has done not bad, but it's also undeniable that, like, some of the things he's achieved are good. Like, he did manage to stop Shao Kahn, which means he managed to stop Armageddon and all that stuff. So technically, and he did stop Shinnok technically with Cassie, but so he has technically done good things. But the side effects, the not the side effects, the
Sacrifice.
yeah, the sacrifices, the circumstances, all that stuff hasn't necessarily been good. It's an interesting little dynamic because it's kind of down the middle. Like it's good and it's bad, and that's kind of I don't know. I kind of like that. I kind of like
Mm.
that. However, I'm not gonna lie. I was kind of hoping that Raiden would be the villain. I was hoping that Chronica would be a good character, or not necessarily good, but that she would not be necessarily the main antagonist, but Raiden would, because I wanted to see him go
Yeah.
just full evil guy and just trying to take control of everything essentially.
And this is like a Ryan ranting. Well, not rambling. I don't want to go too much, but so even though they say it picks up right after MKX, what exactly is picking up from there? Because we know, from what I can tell from the trailer, and like I said, you might need to go through it, look at them a couple more times. I would say the gameplay one, the first one we get to see, and then the one I sent you. Look at those and just look at the story scenes from them. And now, first of all, I want to say this: their cinematics are fucking amazing. Just grade A. They do a better job each game on just the cinematics. Now, my thing is, what do we pick up from? Do we pick up anything MKX, or do we just, 'cause what we can tell is she's stopping time is rewinding pretty much, Chronica. Now, do we get to Our Civil War? Because what the only I can tell from the trailers was Raiden does go to another realm and fights off a lot of people. Sonya and Cass might be a part of that team as well. I'm not sure, but it's just like only we know for sure is that the Netherrealm's involved. They're bringing people back from the past. And that's all I can tell. That's all I can tell, pretty much.
Yeah, I
To do
mean,
even get.
from what we got, sorry to interrupt you, we didn't really get a whole lot of detail about the story. We just kind of all we essentially like knew is now is that this chick can turn back time, and she's trying to do it because, like you said, too many things have kind of gone the way she didn't want them to go, and that's pretty much all we really know.
Yeah, and they said this isn't the first time they back in Calendar. Um, Ed Boon and or whoever the story director is including as the timelines being separate but together at the same time. So like it is altogether one long linear thing, but at the same time I'm not sure if they're pulling people from the old timeline or they're just pulling people back from the past to. It's like the fear we had when we were talking about MK9 the first time.
Mm-hmm.
A reboot inside of a reboot to reboot the other reboot that got rebooted. That is kind of what this game is. It's a reboot without being a full-fledged reboot.
Yeah, it's kind of like this is their grand plan to fix things once and for all, and to potentially be able to unify everything and make it the way they want to, keep the characters they want to keep, and
Hmm.
just kind of push things forward. Because it's interesting that they made it pretty clear that Chronica has actually been she has literally controlled all the events essentially from MK1 forward. So she has been in the part of the MK universe from MK1 to now, technically. So it's
Yes.
interesting how they're gonna maybe show some flashbacks with her, you know, dictating how things go, if they even will do that. But regardless, I think that this is probably gonna be their way of retconning all the immense mistakes that they've
Everything. Yeah.
done. But that just kind of worries me even more because I don't even know if they're actually capable of doing that because there's so many big issues. But I guess technically they could just kind of have this fight break out and then kind of say this doesn't really mean anything anymore. All this. It's going to be really weird. Like I'm excited for it, but I'm cautiously
Scared.
enthusiastic. Yeah, I'm very cautiously enthusiastic because the premises are there. The cutscenes look amazing. I have trust in NetherRealm Studios. It's just I don't know, man. This seems like a pretty big risk. Like not a big risk, but a pretty tough storyline to write. And they already did a pretty major fuck up with MK9, which, in my opinion, was a relatively simple story to write. Like what they did wasn't complicated. So imagine something where there's gonna be time travel and stuff like that. I don't know. There's just something about that kind of. It worries me. It worries me.
Here's the thing, and I give them. This is where I give them props. Like I know this is what we go through this every time. We talk mad shit, and they're like, all right, this is the part of the show we give them props for what they have done. Coming back from let's go to 2006 where they made Armageddon. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
scary shit right there.
Yeah.
Never go back to that again. Then we go to DC, Mortal Kombat DC, in which we get the cinematic storylines, which is like, all right, I kind of like it, not fully, but yeah, okay. MK9. Now, keep on, MK9 came right after they got bought. So for a while, we didn't know what the hell was going to happen. We thought Marvel's DC was going to be their last hurrah, and then we're done. So now you get to make a good story, a decent story, but you want to make it exciting as well.
Mm-hmm.
Which, for the first 2 times, it was exciting. The story mode. But then it's like, do they really have to kill these people off? Like, do they really like? I mean, MKX, you have so many expectations from the 3D era, getting people back from there, Kai, Reiko, Fujin, and then when you just look at the roster and you saw that they weren't on there, like, okay, well, at least all of the revenues are back alive again. I don't know how, but they are. And then you play the story mode, it's like, no, we're dead. Only people who are alive now are SubZero, Scorpion, and who's the last person? Oh, Jax.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's me being sarcastic though. Like, like one of those people we watched die so far twice now. Oh, no. So let's say Scorpion died already, so we know he's dead. Ain't nobody left. That's good. SubZero Beyond dies. Then comes back a new sideby. So honestly, this is a separate thing. We're gonna talk about this later, probably off air, but then you watch SubZero die and come back to life. And then you get Jax. So what was special about those three that they had to come back to life? Hell, out of all the costumes, I feel like honestly they brought Scorpion and SubZero back just to give them beers.
Just because nowadays, you have all these characters throughout all the video games. They all pretty much have beards. Marcus Phoenix has a beard in Gears of War. Of course, God of War Kratos has a beard. They might as well. Arthur Morgan has a beard. Might as well give SubZero all these guys beards.
SubZero and Scorpion. All people who have beards in that game was SubZero, Scorpion.
There was one
Ken
more.
always had beards.
Yeah,
huh? And Kenshi.
Count. Yeah, Kenshi. That's
but
right.
Kenshi. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like you said, I don't know what was special about Jax and SubZero. SubZero, sure, but Jax, why they would be the chosen ones, I guess you could say, to
for Jackie.
Yeah, to no longer be revenants, but
you know, honestly, thing you could have did instead, left Jack's dead and have Jackie talk to her dad as a revenant. Maybe that can bring him back.
Maybe I don't know. I just this whole revenant thing it's just kind of BS to me. I've never bought it, never liked it.
I'll say this. So, the Fort Snake, he does a video on that, and we know we talked about it before. Probably never seen the light of day, but just in case. He made a thing about the combat kits having a shared chapter for one, but at least giving Kung Jin and Kung Lao a chance to actually talk. So how his endings that Kung Jin is pretty much saving Kung Lao. Why didn't you could do that with Jackie? Like Jackie was born before Jax died. I don't know. You could do all these different things. You just want to have a reason to make everyone have babies or have beards. And honestly, I don't think none of these babies would compare to Katana and Liu Kang had a kid. One who throws fire, and the other one who's a born assassin. Yeah, yeah. Okay, Cassie. Let's see what your green energy do against that.
Well, especially considering that's kind of the couple that everybody has kind of grown to.
Associates with.
Yeah, that is the Mortal Kombat couple. So you would think that would happen eventually, but I don't know. Maybe now that they're, as you can of course tell from the trailer, there is at least a live version of Liu Kang, which I'm assuming is an older from the original timeline, and then of course it's probably going to be the Katana equivalent as well. Maybe we'll get to see that eventually,
Yeah.
but who the hell knows? I guess. Is there anything?
Ronda Rousey knows.
Yeah. Ronda
No, she
Rousey.
did say she doesn't know what the hell's going on. She just knows what she's read off her lines.
Well, of course, they do that in all video games and stuff like that. You read off your lines, and that's it. You know what goes on with your character, and that's pretty much it. So that's fine. That's like Ronda Rousey. I give her a lot of shit. I don't like her as a person based on the way she acted a lot of throughout her UFC career. And I don't really, based on the little clips that we saw, we can't really give a lot of judgment. But I don't expect any high quality voice acting from her, to say the least. But at the very least, at the show, she did seem like she has quite a bit of knowledge about the series. It looks like she had, she did her homework and she is a fan, so I do respect that at the very least. So I'm more than willing to give her her chance to impress me. Will she do it? I honestly hope so, but I doubt it. But
yeah, this is literally the first nice thing he said about Ronda Rousey ever.
well, I mean, there's
At
really
least to
not a
me.
whole lot to say about her. That's positive. Like, I mean, she was good for a while before she got exposed for being garbage on the feet, and she showed many a time that she is not a good person. So that's about it. I mean, I'm not going to say much more about that. I've already roasted her plenty of times, but she is a million times more successful than me. So I guess technically she has the last laugh. She gets
Yeah, like,
she
who are
gets
we
the
to
moral
judge?
victory. Exactly.
Yeah, she's in a more from a game before we are. So
Yeah, and I'll probably never be in one, just because
yeah.
I don't suck off the old eyebrows enough, but I can possibly try to work that into my next project or something like that.
Final thoughts. I guess we again. Okay, so the reveal was great. Don't get me wrong, but it left more to be. It did what it was meant to do, and it makes you want to keep your eyes out for more and keep watching. So I appreciate that I did that and it wasn't boring. Like this thing could have easily just been shit, and it's like, all right, well, time to get my $10 back from GameStop. Oh, and also we got an actual date for the beta too, so that's another thing to
That's
take
right.
advantage of too.
What is it? March what?
Uh, March 28th.
28th. Okay, yeah.
So literally like a little less than a month before the game is released.
And they also showed the collector's edition. What did you ever like find the price or anything like that for it?
No, I didn't. I saw look at the picture you sent me. I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna buy it, so that's why I'm thinking about it. But
Yeah,
I want to go look for the price.
I was trying to find it. In Europe, I can't find the prices yet. I can't find
Hmm.
anywhere that's talking about it. And it wouldn't let me go to the American pre-order through their website, so I couldn't see the
I'll look
price.
around.
Yeah,
I'll
but
let you know later.
okay, thanks. But yeah, like you said, looking at the contents, what was there? There was the mask, of course. I think there was a medallion or something like that,
Yeah, a magnet.
a magnet, and it's cool. But I'm assuming it's going to be 150, maybe even $200, because the helmet does look, not the helmet, excuse me, the mask looks really well done. It looks pretty big as well. It's a 1-to-1 scale, so it is going to be pretty big. And I'm expecting it to be a solid 50, maybe $100 more than the premium edition. So I'm myself am not going to buy it. Um, I'm unimpressed with it, to be honest. Like, it's cool, but it's not. I much prefer the MKX Sidewinder Scorpion. It was, I think, way cooler, but it is what it is. At least they're trying to do something different. I'm not gonna buy it, but I definitely wouldn't be against somebody buying it, and I'll probably buy it when it's cheaper.
Yeah, just wait a couple of years where you find someone else who wants to sell it.
No, exactly. Like I bought the MKX Collector's Edition like a month ago for $30. Everything
Don't
was
get me
brand new.
started. 'Cause I will fight you over that still.
I challenge you one of these nights in Mortal Kombat, and I'll just send it over to you if you somehow manage to beat me.
Okay, bet. So whoever hits the other first with that Shao Kahn hammer wins.
All right, I accept.
Okay, this is live, guys. So he owes me a statue now.
Well,
That's literally
hold on though. Let's discuss this for a second. What happens if
okay.
you literally can't hit each other with we can't hit each other with the hammer because the time runs out of the match, and we just keep on banging hammers, which
You better hope Shao Kahn doesn't have a teleport then.
banging hammers does sound kind of weird. I'm not gonna lie, but I don't know. It is what it is. You
Just
know
let
what
it
I
go.
mean.
Let
You
it
know what I
go.
mean.
Yeah, just let it go.
Yeah.
No, yeah, as like I said, did what it was supposed to do, got me hyped, and now it's like, all right, show me the people I want to see now. Because people, really, the people who I didn't really care to see or really ask to see look great. You can imagine how I'm going to feel with the people who I want to see is in there.
Exactly.
And on the separate note, because first of all, if Fuji's not in the game, I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to riot now.
Mm-hmm.
Or they make him, but also that could be a really good selling point for DLC as well.
It could.
But
It could.
but at the same time, it's like now with the three people we want. 'Cause we said we wanted who? Like people we agreed on. We said Rain, not Rain.
Reiko.
Reiko, Fujin. There was one more we wanted together.
Maybe Havoc.
Sure, let's go with Havoc. Who was the three people from the 3D era that was in the comics? Wow, that really was all the 3D era characters that was in the comics minus Moloch and Drummond. They died literally in
And
two scenes
Frost too.
later.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. So I'd be okay with just those people in the comic pack. Maybe if you don't fit them in, but now it's like now what brings up the question is who. Let's go back to this. Who deserves the last few spots? And
Hmm.
that is something that we can make a case for every person we want. I can make a case right now about how Reiko, who's only been in two games in a comic, deserved it, but the same person next to me would say Natar deserves to be in the game. I'm like, okay, no, but okay. So anyone can make a fight, but it's like, who do they, who do they pick for the last few places? And I'm only counting from trailers and other quote unquote leaks because, well, these are actually legit leaks though. And by the way, I commend the person who, not commend, but I think if I understand the leak game. So the leaks that are true are literally from NRS, and they say, all right, leak this shit out so everyone gets happy about it.
It's kind of like a hype
And
builder.
yeah, because think about it. It wasn't hype build. The whole thing that came out about Jiris, Ronda Rousey, um, and pretty much talking about the reveal. But that wasn't that. It wasn't that we didn't believe it because there's so many other leaks going on saying, oh, well, this is gonna be in the game, and this is gonna be in the game, and Kano's son's gonna be in the game. Like, and yeah, with everyone making 30 plus rosters on just the main roster, that just like saying, well, your shit's wrong. There's only 25. But I think that was just a legit leak that he said, all right, put this out and see what happens. And we were skeptical and didn't know what to believe, so we're still taking a surprise when we saw it. But that's all I got. What about you?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Overall, a good reveal. I would like to see it go longer, but it does mean that the combat cast is going to be. I'm expecting it to be very solid with a lot of details about all the characters that we wanted to see. Not all the characters we wanted to see, but we want to see more about the ones that we did get to see. Overall, like I said, I'm happy that they showed some characters that I didn't expect to see. Baraka, of course, Scarlet as well. The game looks great. I like the fact that a lot of the moves are more cinematic. They do a lot of close-ups with moves and stuff like that, and it's great to see. And just in general, man, the game so far is looking great. It's looking really, really solid. Ed Boon looks like he's extremely proud of the game that they're developing, which makes me happy because he's made some hugely successful games. So, I don't know. Just in general, I think that the vibe coming from this game is a lot more positive for me personally than it was for MKX. I was excited for MKX, but this game, there's just something about it that really makes me feel like this is going to be a solid MK game.
It's just, I think part of it is that we don't have time. We really don't have time to think about the stuff that's coming out too.
Yeah, it's gonna be very fast.
Literally, it came out, the trailer came out in December. They gave us a month to get ready. Which, by the way, guys, we had more than a month to get ready for this thing. He couldn't find his headphones at the last second.
Well, I could find them, but I just couldn't find the ones that work. Let's put it that way. I have my gaming headphones that for some reason the mic doesn't work, and I have these other ones, but for some reason the microphone, the headphones themselves wasn't working. So I kind of had a desperate little search at the last second. Luckily, there was a bunch of filler with them interviewing a bunch of, I'm not going to say randoms, but people from the community that I don't particularly need to hear. So luckily that happened. Oh, I just remembered one thing that I really wanted to mention that I forgot to write down, but I really wanted to mention. When you were watching the stream, like after we stopped talking, were you watching the American one or the English one?
American.
The American one was fucking trash compared to the English one. I don't know if you saw anything about the English one.
No, I haven't yet.
Dude, like Total MK, he had it to where he would switch back from the English one to the American one, and half the time the American one was on pause. There was nothing going on, or they had a bunch of garbage. Like, at one point, there was this one chick who was talking about cookies. Like, oh, man, I love to bake cookies. And then, of course, I love Mortal Kombat. And I made these special cookies or something like that just for this event or something like that. It's just some random bullshit. Whereas on the English one, they had a ton of people playing the game. They had pro matches. They had a bunch of celebrities on there. A lot of stuff that they did on the American one too. But there was constantly stuff going on. Whereas in the American one, it just seemed like there was a lot of filler bullshit. So if
they didn't know what to expect. Yeah.
So I think that realistically, like if you watch the entire thing, your experience between it really does kind of depend on which one you were watching. Were you watching the American one that unfortunately had a lot of bullshit in it, or were you watching the English one that was really focused on the gameplay and the people just focused on the game itself and not the celebrities that were there and just the content creators and all that stuff? It was more, the American one seemed like it was a little bit more focused on the show, and the English one was focused more on the actual game. So I do commend the English part of it for that. Go ahead.
Oh, like for that one, you had more to. They had all the big names there, so that's what made it seem like, oh yeah. And I'm like, all right, well, that's when I watch this one. I'm like, no, I probably should watch the other one. But I do gotta go soon, buddy. So
yeah, me too. That is it.
Yeah.
I just want to say one thing. Like, the reason that some of these episodes come out kind of late and I've been so busy lately is because today is actually my grandma's birthday, and about 2 weeks ago we discovered that she has a tumor, a pretty big one in her lung as well. So there's been a lot of stuff going on. So I do apologize sincerely to you guys for not putting out this stuff as often as I would like to, whether it's videos or podcasts. It's just there's been a lot going on. So hopefully you guys can understand, but everything is getting a little bit more secure right now. So with the build up for MK11, all that stuff, me and Thomas, we're going to be putting out a ton of podcasts, recording as often as possible, and it's going to be a great build up. I can just tell it's going to be a great build up. So definitely stick around. That's it from me. So we'll see you in the next one.
See you.
And happy birthday to my grandma.
Yeah.
75 years old, or 75 years young, I guess you could say. All right. See you guys.